Hi friends and drama nerds. The movie starts with a group of doctors who are trying to save a baby. A few moments later, we see the mother checking on her baby. Her baby has passed the critical condition and it is not clear if her baby will get better or not. Then we skip to a couple of years later where we see a girl named Chloe who has 5 serious diseases, including asthma, diabetes, and paralysis. Chloe has to take medicine and blood tests to control her sugar. She is a very smart and wishes to study in one of the best universities. With great interest, she applies for studying to many universities. She is excited every time a letter arrives at their house, and hoping to receive the letter she wants from universities, but unfortunately, she never received it. Chloe loves to experiment and has learned to make interesting tools at home. One day, when Chloe is studying, she hears the sound of a car and gets excited thinking of the postman, but she sees her mother just came from shopping. When her mother is on the phone, Chloe goes into shopping bags and takes some of the chocolate, and accidentally she notices a package of green medicine whose mother's name is written on it. Chloe is curious to know what kind of illness her mother has. At night, Chloe's mother gives her some medicine before going to bed. Chloe is surprised to see the same medicine whose mother's name was on its container. She asks her mother about this medicine, and her mother tells that this is Chloe's medicine and the name is of the person who bought the medicine. Chloe, who is still suspicious, takes the medicine and sleeps. The next day, Chloe is overcome by curiosity, and she decides to take a close look at her medicines. The name of the drug written on the package is trigaxine. Chloe is confused because this time she sees her name written on it. When she peels off the label, she sees that her mother's name is under hers. That night, before Chloe sleeps, her mother gives her the same medicine again, but this time, Chloe doesn't take the green pill and puts it aside to check it later. When her mother sleeps, Chloe goes downstairs to find information about trigaxin on the internet. Unfortunately, there is no internet connection, and at the same time, she doesn't notice that someone is watching her from across the room. The next day, Chloe randomly calls several people and wants them to search on the internet about a drug called trigaxin. It turns out that trigaxin is a heart drug, but surprisingly, the color of the pills should be red, not green. Chloe gets suspicious of her mother but is not sure yet. She asks her mother to go to the cinema together so that she can get some information somehow. In the cinema, Chloe tells her mother that she wants to go to the bathroom. She gets out and goes straight to the pharmacy nearby. When she gets to the pharmacy, she faces a long line of customers, but she convinces them to let her at the first. She asks the pharmacy doctor about the medicine that her mother gives her. The doctor checks the drug and says that this drug is not trigaxin. It's a kind of drug that used for dogs. Chloe is shocked to hear this. She asks the doctor what happens if people take this medicine. The doctor says they will be paralyzed. At the same time, Diane, her mother, shows up panicking and yelling at people to give them some space, and she injects her with anesthetic and takes her home. And because she is afraid of revealing the truth, she imprisons Chloe in her room and goes to buy a new paralyzing drug which she has found on the internet. Chloe wakes up and realizes that her mother has locked the door. Chloe is a smart girl. She knows how to open the door, but unfortunately, her mother had predicted this and she has tightened up the door from behind as well. But Chloe does not give up so easily. She uses scientific and technical tricks that she knows, and using soldering iron, blanket, and water inside her mouth, she comes out of the window on the roof and reaches the next room. She uses the heat of the soldering iron to heat the glass and the water in her mouth to break it. She also uses the blanket for those glass splinters while crawling inside. After entering the room, she gets an asthma attack, and she forgot to bring her inhaler. Chloe rushes to get to her room and barely breathing. She finally gets to her room and immediately uses the inhaler to relieve the asthma attack. Then she gets on her wheelchair and decides to run away. But her mother destroyed the elevator that Chloe needs to go downstairs with. She, who has no choice, throws the wheelchair down and then she attempts to crawl the stairs, which suddenly falls down to the ground. While she is down in pain, she miraculously feels that she can wiggle her toes. That's because it has been several days since she didn't take the medicine that her mother gives her. Now she is completely convinced that something is wrong with her mother. Chloe immediately gets on the wheelchair and breaks out. She encounters the postman, who always brings their letters, and he knows her. Chloe asks him to save her from her mother. At the same time, her mother arrives. The postman stops Diane, who wants to take her daughter home. He tells her that Chloe doesn't want to go home. She wants to go to the police. Diane insists on taking her daughter home. She even threatens him of being a kidnapper and attempts to call the police. But since there is no signal, she reluctantly allows the postman to take Chloe with him, but on the condition that she also will go with them. When Chloe gets on the postman's van, Diane comes from behind and injects him with anesthetic. Then she knocks Chloe unconscious and takes her her home. When she wakes up, she realizes that she is imprisoned in the basement. Chloe sees the black liquid that her mother made, and it is probably another paralyzing substance. She can't run away because her mother put her in chain. Then she is looking for a way to escape, until she notices a stack of papers and pictures. Chloe finds out that the university acceptance letters, who she had applied for them, were coming all this time, but her mother has hidden these letters from her. She even finds some pictures, which shows that she was a healthy child before, and she was able to walk. Then she finds a letter in which it says about a child named Chloe who died 2 hours after her birth in the hospital. There is a piece of newspaper next to it, which shows that another child was stolen from the hospital on that same day. It turns out that Diane's baby, which was shown at the beginning of the movie, did not survive, and Diane was so upset that she had stolen another baby from the hospital that day. Chloe is confused and upset. At the same time, Diane arrives and admits that she is not her real mother, and the medicine she gave her, she made Chloe sick and paralyzed because she loved her so much. She asks her to forget all this and come back to the life they had. She promises to throw away all those medicine. Chloe, who is still terrified, does not accept until her mother loses patience, and she gets some of that black substance she has made into the syringe to inject Chloe. Chloe is terrified by these and begs her to stop it. Then she finds her way into a little room and locks the door. While in there, she finds a bottle of poison, and when her mother finally opens the door, Chloe drinks some of that poison. Diane, realizing that her daughter is dying, she starts to panic and crying. Here we understand that Diane madly loves Chloe, to the extent that she tried each and every way to control Chloe from the moment of her birth. It's a kind of love, but selfish and sick. Now Chloe is poisoned and facing death. She is taken to the hospital to be treated. Fortunately, Chloe is saved, but still it is difficult for her to talk or move. Chloe sees her mother staring at her from behind the glass. Seeing this, by pressing the help button, Chloe asks the nurse for help. She still can't speak. That's why she signals the nurse with her eyes. The nurse gives Chloe a pen and paper so that she can write what she wants. When Chloe is trying to write something, the alarm sound goes on. It turns out that it was Diane who did that to distract the hospital staff. It doesn't take long for Diane to enter the room and takes her out. When the nurse returns and notices that Chloe has disappeared, she is surprised, then notices the note that Chloe has left on the bed. The nurse immediately informs the security to find Chloe. Chloe's mother is forcing her to take her home, and she can't ask anyone for help because she can't make a sound. They are close to leave the hospital where Chloe's wheelchair gets stuck, and her mother can't move her. It turns out that Chloe is holding the wheelchair with her foot, as she has gained her strength because of not taking those drugs for a couple of days. A little later, the securities arrive to stop them. Diane points a gun at them and says that she just wants to go home with her daughter. One of the guards manages to shoot her, and she falls down the stairs. Chloe is saved and Diane is handed over to the police. The next scene, in 7 years later, shows a mental hospital. Chloe, who has grown up now, although still it is difficult for her to walk, is there to meet Diane. Chloe talks about her new life to her mother. Her new family is wonderful. She has made friends and graduated from her favorite university. Before Chloe says goodbye, she takes something out of her mouth, which is the dog medicine that Diane was giving to Chloe. Chloe is like, "I love you, Mom. Now open your mouth."